Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on over to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host for today, Matt Tardio. Today's episode is going to be sponsored by Factor. We got a ton of stuff for you that is lined up for today. Looks like we've got a buttload of the terror supporters that were ripping apart college universities that are out the door. They are being kicked out. They are gone, baby. They are gone. And before we get into all that and a heck of a lot more, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to give this a quick listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to me. Whatever you put into your body directly correlates to how well you feel. The same thing's true for your car. If you think about it, if you put sugar into your gas tank, your car is going to run like garbage. In the same sense, if you put a bunch of sugar and garbage into your body, well, guess what? Your body is going to run like crap. And right now, the sponsor of today's episode, Factor, is offering you 50% off plus a little bit more. We're going to get into that in a sec. You can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto. Additionally, you've got over 40 different options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each and every week. It's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose your preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. You can reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that you can't beat. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code Factor Podcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a deal. You can't beat it. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring today's episode. Woo! Thank you, Factor. You are the best. Hey. Nobody was asking you, Mr. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Yes, I know. I am doing freaking amazing. And I have some like amazing stuff to actually bring up. We're going to be talking about the military. We're going to be talking about the DOD. We're going to be talking about the new changes that ended up coming. I do like this stuff. Since I've been gone, I know I've been here and I've been there. I've been all over the place in the last couple of days. Ended up having on Nate Vance last night. Ended up like going over to LA. Ended up doing a lot of things, raising a lot of money. Ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be a very, very good episode. I miss you guys. I'm happy to be back. Good to have the studio back set up. It's just, dude, it's a lovely day. So first and foremost, you know what? Let's just talk about some good news that is happening here in the United States of America. And then we're going to start shifting overseas, why it's affecting. Dude, just get ready.
Welcome to the third installment of the Department of Defense's weekly situation report, or SITREP. This week, the Department of Defense wasted no time getting our military back to its core mission. Secretary Hegseth ordered a department-wide review of existing standards set by U.S. military branches pertaining to physical fitness, body composition, and grooming. Our troops will look sharp, not sloppy, and the DoD will see quality, not quotas. The Pentagon also announced that we're eliminating woke climate change programs and initiatives inconsistent with our core warfighting mission. Ukraine aid and intelligence sharing was reactivated in response to Zelensky's.
Whoa, wait, what? Did that happen? Yeah, it did. It happened. And I told you guys you needed to be patient and wait for it all to come out. So I'm glad everybody was patient. I'm glad you guys waited for it to come out. And it's like you guys are over here in True Supporters for a reason. So thank you guys for supporting me. Let's keep it rolling.
Acceptance of a 30-day ceasefire. The President and the Secretary of Defense have been very, very clear. The U.S. wants to see peace in Ukraine. The killing must stop. Army Chief of Staff General George ordered a review of all general officer memorandums of reprimands that were issued to soldiers who refused to comply with the previous administration's COVID vaccine mandate. And last, Secretary Hegseth made OPM's 5 bullet points email assignment a weekly task for Pentagon civilians. Woke is out at the Department of Defense, and accountability and standards are in. Thank you for watching, America. God bless you all, and God bless this great country that we call home.
And you got to love the fact that the man that's leading all this up has like a purple heart on his freaking lapel. You really do. And you know what, dude? You guys want to see something cool? I got gifted something right before I ended up coming live, and I think everybody that's over here watching this right now would probably appreciate to see this. Nate gave me a gift. He gave me a couple gifts, actually, and some of it you can and you can't see. So we're going to start off with this. We'll start off, I mean, not that it, I'm not saying, well, maybe this wasn't from him. I'm not sure. Maybe it could be, I'm not sure on importation laws and trophies and stuff. I mean, Kind of cool. This may or may not be a captured Russian AK mag that got picked up off of a dropped rifle in a foreign country. May or may not be that. Additionally, we might or might not have particular parts of different things he was doing. Now, before everybody goes and they freak out, yeah, it was tactically acquired off of somebody that dropped it after they were aerated. Maybe with like particular types of bullets. And then, the particular optic that was used in order to aerate said person may or may not be right here in my hands, which I absolutely love. And we're not going to promote the particular company that's doing it, but yeah, this is pretty rad. So I was able to get all that. He gifted out to me. I think it's pretty cool. So all of that's going to go back up over there on the shelf. We're going to keep that around. Yeah, it is pretty sick. I freaking love it. I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys like seeing stuff like that. We're going to have a heck of a lot more of that coming out, and we're going to keep coming up because there's so much stuff to catch you guys up on. It's not even funny. And I can't help but notice that it feels like this account continues to get attacked by bots, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll deal with the Russian bots and everybody else. Like, God forbid we put out accurate information. Holy freaking crap. Holy smokes. Fake news media is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about it. And by the way, I'm not the only one calling them out. As a matter of fact, a particular president of the United States of America may have been doing it as well. And wouldn't you know it, I might have a clip of a particular example of certain types of fake news media that might have emerged last night. Get ready.
And I believe that CNN and MSDNC, who literally write 97.6% bad about me, are political arms of the Democrat Party. And in my opinion, they're really corrupt and they're illegal. What they do is illegal. It makes no difference how big a victory I had. I can have the biggest victory in history. It makes no difference what kind of a failure the other side has. And I believe that...
Yeah, and he's not lying either when he says that, because it doesn't matter what type of victory he has. You guys just heard it over there from the Pentagon where they're saying, hey, look, all of that foreign aid and everything was turned on to Ukraine. I just saw somebody ask me whether or not we're going to have part 2 coming out tonight. We're going to hold off for a second on part 2, and we're going to hold off for a very particular reason. And you guys are going to understand a heck of a lot more clear in the future, I promise you, but we're going to hold off on part 2. Now, what I'm going to open up right here is this particular clip. So everybody knows, and I was shocked to hear this myself, it's like the fake media is just doing fake media things, right? Like they're just constantly out there doing fake media things. And I don't like it when the fake media does fake media things. It pisses me off just as much. It probably pisses you guys off. I'm not a huge fan of it. And I know you guys aren't a huge fan of it. Well, last night when we were interviewing Nate Vance, what ended up coming out was that, between him and I, what it most certainly sounded like was it wasn't like he got home and then tried to contact his cousin, VP Vance, right? But if you go and you look at like certain news segments and stuff, which I'm about to play for you, it would certainly sound that way. 100%. They made it sound, and they ended up putting it out there, and they ended up throwing up information as if, Nate had tried to reach JD Vance, and it was like he wasn't able to get a hold of him. And so, boom, there it is. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, I was surprised when I asked him like directly, like the question of like, when was it that you actually interviewed him? And it turns out, or when you actually try to contact him, and he's like, dude, that was like years ago that ended up happening. And it's really, really dishonest the way the media kind of goes about it. And I think they might be a little bit upset about it. So hold on, let's get this little clip up in case you missed it.
I didn't like this. Well, first let's go ahead and play that clip about you trying to reach out.
I know that you've tried to reach out to your cousin since he took office, but haven't been successful. I mean, what were you planning to say to him? I mean, what do you want to say to him now in this moment?
So when you go back and you hear that now,
and this is the issue when it goes down to that, right? Like when they ask questions like this, and I had talked about it, and I was being very political about it last night, but now he's gone and I'm here, so now Matt gets to say what he wants to say, right? So, yeah. The eye-opening portion of this was that they had given him, I think what he had said was just a couple minutes of like a pre-screen before they actually brought him up on camera, and then ended up just asking him questions like that. Well, if they would have done the research like I did and asked him the pertinent questions before taking him on camera, they would have known that that was actually years ago that he attempted to do that. That wasn't after he got back from Ukraine. No. It was years ago. And the way they try to paint the picture is that for some reason, like Nate was being like declined and pushed away, and he's trying to help with everything, but for God forbid, like they take an answer from him. That's not actually what happened, nor were they raised like brothers, things like that. They had summer vacations. They were able to go back. But like all of these things, like they were cousins that were living in different states. And the way everything has been portrayed in the media has been exactly the opposite, in my opinion. And I think what America kind of thought about it is totally different. That wasn't the only time CNN tried to, in my opinion, screw him over, but they did it quite a bit. Now, Russinator has came in and he says, "Howdy, my brothers and sisters. How are y'all? I launched a GoFundMe for me to get to Dallas for a model and acting expo. I love you guys." Russinator, greatly appreciate you for doing that, man. I feel like I shared that, and if I didn't, I said I would do that. Amit's coming in saying, "Happy Porkim," and I probably pronounced that wrong. Donnie Reed came in gifting out a Speak the Truth membership, and Incog Faraday ended up coming in gifting out an additional 5 Speak the Truth memberships. So thank you guys for all of those donations. Now we're going to start rolling down the train because I can honestly sit here and crap on CNN all day, but that's no fun because the Dems are out there crapping on everybody else, which is actually going to affect directly what's taking place overseas. We're going to talk about that. Lead up. So it's really interesting because he walked into the Kennedy Center and people like actually started booing him as if things were bad. And even today, I noticed when I go over in like pro-Ukrainian spaces and things like that, that I catch crap the moment I actually start bringing up the fact that aid was turned back on and that intel sharing has been turned back on. But for some reason, nobody wants to hear that. They don't. They want to stick back to their regular little narrative of whatever the hell it is they think. And I personally don't appreciate it. I think it's very, very, very dishonest for people to put things like that out there and then not come back and say, hey, well, guess what? It's now turned back on. And it hadn't even been a week. Right here, again, is a good example, in my opinion. This is the White House. This is what took place at the White House. You know what happened to her today? She's a very, very sick, terminally ill child. And this administration, God forbid, is actually doing something good.
What is your favorite color?
Ooh.
Blue.
Ooh.
Mine too.
Yeah. Do you have any pets or siblings?
I have a doggy and a annoying brother.
Yeah, I like how Finn Diesel says it was just a negotiation tactic. Believe it or not, I tend to agree with you, and I believe I had said stuff like, let's see where the cards fall. Let's see what actually happens. Yeah, they did really good things like that. They're out there, but God forbid, nope, they're the worst humans on the planet. Absolutely horrible, horrible, horrible human beings, allegedly, that are out there doing that. I'm not even sure if you guys ended up seeing this video of the same horrible human beings. Ah, the humanity. Oh my goodness. If you don't know what you're looking at Elon Musk's child, and they are walking out over to Marine Force One. Look at these evil, evil human beings. God forbid. Somebody call the cops. Jude Chase says, I support both Ukraine and Israel and pray for peace. You and me both, brother. You know why? Because we actually have brains and we can think for ourselves. We are what is known as independent and or critical thinkers, and there's nothing wrong with being a critical thinker or an independent thinker. It is to the point now in this country where if you want people to be deported who may or may not cause violent riots on college campuses, take people hostage, wreck property, deny people freedom of movement, and do all of those things, well, there's politicians that are calling to keep them in here. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's nuts to me, as if this administration is doing something that is oh so horrible that by deporting these people. Now, things like this are being shown on social media and on TV. This is the idiot that was responsible for organizing the protest over on Columbia University. Looks like his arrest video may or may not have came out.
Turn around. Okay, let's not. Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone, okay? He's not, I understand, he's not resisting.
Put your arm down. There's no need for this. Don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry. I'm coming with you. Don't worry.
You guys really don't need to be doing all of that. Habibi, كيف بدي أتصل فيك?
Take Amy. Call Amy.
Okay. Hi, Amy. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do. Oh
They handcuffed him. Oh, God, help. Somebody help. They handcuffed a terrorist supporter and they're kicking him out of the country. Oh, God, please, somebody help him. We don't know what to do. Lee, I don't care. I don't care what country he came from, but he's gone now. And that is a very good thing. That is a positive day for America. I'm sorry he's not going to be able to like go to your pro-pally rallies with you, but he's gone. And I want to show you guys something. Like, I'm going to actually do this live on screen. First, I'm going to go over the Google box. And when I hear of all of these things happen, now I did this when I was doing a little bit of research for the channel. I think it's important for you guys to be able to see it so you guys can see me do this in real time. I want you to watch this. All right. We're going to do Columbia. I done spelled that wrong. Columbia University riots. Now, why do I say the media is dishonest? Come over here and take a look at the images with me. Okay, we're going to scroll through. When we look at these, all you see is people standing outside for the most part. Here you see like some cops on like the little thing going to like break into the hall. But I want you to take a look at all of these different images. They certainly do quasi look like peaceful protesters. Maybe they're yelling and stuff like that. Boom. Finally, one picture of somebody doing something absurd from NBC News breaking a window. But let's go ahead and take a look at what it actually looks like. And this is why people are so pissed off, because the media is so gosh darn dishonest. And I personally am getting sick of it myself. And what do I mean by them being dishonest? I just showed you guys an example of what I believe to be dishonest reporting, from not taking the time and doing due diligence on something that may or may not involve national security and freaking millions of lives. And somebody just wants to go and spit some freaking rhetoric and try to make the administration look bad because it suits and it fits their freaking agenda. But let's take a look at some of the stuff that was actually taking place at Columbia University. Ooh, what do we have here? Oh, okay. So they just weren't standing outside with signs. They actually conducted vandalism, broke into a building. And if I remember right, this happens to be the very particular building where they actually took a couple people hostage. If I remember right, there was like workers or something like that that were inside of that building that weren't able to get out for a while. And it's absolutely absurd that the media cannot be honest about what actually happened. Here's another video. You don't believe me? Here's another video. And who was it that organized all of this stupidity? Well, it was the guy that you saw just a little bit ago getting thrown in handcuffs. According to the Trump administration, he's here on a visa. And he's not a permanent resident. He is a major pile of garbage. And yet that didn't stop people from like getting pissed off. And we're going to talk about, you know what, let me just grab that clip real quick, because for some reason they felt the need to give the White House crap over all of this stuff. You know what? Why don't we just go ahead and bring up this gentleman right here? You guys might love him. You might know him as like the brand new Secretary of State. And he ends up getting questioned on all of these things. And the Trump administration 100% is doing a baller job of shutting these knuckleheads down. Check this one out. I love this clip. This like makes me smile. Like, this is how politicians should be talking to the media that just does jacked up stuff.
President Trump appealed to a lot of Americans during his campaign on free speech arguments and not suppressing speech, especially from the government. But your revocation of the green card, to many, is seen as one of the most anti-speech actions a secretary can take with his powers. How do you respond?
Yeah, I mean, when you enter this is an important point, and I'm glad you asked this question. When you come to the United States as a visitor, which is what a visa is, which is how this individual entered this country, as on a visitor's visa, okay, you are here as a visitor. We can deny you that visa. We can deny you that if you tell us when you apply, hi, I'm trying to get into the United States on a student visa. I am a big supporter of Hamas, a murderous, barbaric group that kidnaps children, that rapes teenage girls, that takes...
And I'm going to add strangles babies.
takes hostages, that allows them to die in captivity, that returns more bodies than live hostages. If you tell us that you are in favor of a group like this, and if you tell us when you apply for your visa, and by the way, I intend to come to your country as a student and rile up all kinds of anti-Jewish student, anti-Semitic activities, I intend to shut down your universities. If you told us all these things when you applied for a visa, we would deny your visa. I hope we would. If you actually end up doing that, once you're in this country on such a visa, we will revoke it. And if you end up having a green card, not citizenship, but a green card as a result of that visa while you're here in those activities, we're going to kick you out. It's as simple as that. This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right to a green card, by the way. So when you apply for a student visa, or any visa to enter the United States, we have a right to deny you for virtually any reason. But I think being a supporter of Hamas and coming into our universities and turning them upside down and being complicit in what are clearly crimes of vandalization, complicit in shutting down learning institutions. There are kids at these schools that can't go to class. You pay all this money to these high-priced schools that are supposed to be of great esteem, and you can't even go to class. You're afraid to go to class because these lunatics are running around with covers on their face, screaming terrifying things. If you told us that's what you intended to do when you came to America, we would have never let you in. And if you do it once you get in, we're going to revoke it and kick you out.
I mean, I feel like that's a statement most Americans should be capable of getting behind, but for some reason, there's a lot of Americans, for some ungodly reason, that we're not capable of getting behind. It drives me insane. It pisses me off. I look at it and I think about it. I don't even know why people wouldn't be happy that this is taking place. They say it's a violation of free speech. No, it's not. You don't get to break into buildings, kidnap people, deny people freedom of movement, take away like your amendments, your rights. They stop when you start impeding on the rights of others. And by the way, you're not even a U.S. citizen. Get the hell out. I say we ought to just send them over to Gaza. If you guys have that undying support and we're going to be paying for a plane ticket, we ought to pay for a plane ticket over into Egypt and let them figure out how to cross the border and go support the people that they think are in such hardship. But the fact is that they don't have the cojones to go and pick up a rifle and put their money where their mouth is. Instead, they want to just sit there, riot and cause and sow discourse over here in the United States of America. And unfortunately, the media, how I just showed you a little bit ago when it came down to violence and violent protests and everything, well, they are freaking getting away with it. But don't worry, there's other people that are currently getting arrested. They're going after several of them. I saw reports of several people that have been associated with these violent protests. I don't even know what I'm calling it, protests, with these violent riots that they're actually going after and kicking out of the country. That, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is a very good thing. The White House press secretary, I should have a clip of it coming up here in just a little bit, was actually questioned about it today. All right. And they I don't even know how to express this. Like, she freaking laid into them, and the freaking Biden and Trump, or excuse me, the Trump administration is kind of like losing it on them. So let me open this up for you guys so that you can take a look at it. We sent a letter over to let people at the freaking university know that if they continue to do all of this garbage, that they're going to end up getting kicked out of here. It was signed, all right, by Sean Keveny. I hope he's the acting general counsel of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Josh Grisham, he is the blah, 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 whatever, acting general counsel for the U.S. Department of Education. They went off on him. Okay, let me give you an example of some of the things that they told them that they need to comply with, or else they're going to end up losing funding. Now, all of this is very important to me. We're going to get into those rules for a second, what they told them. All this is very important to me because today there ended up coming out reports that, and it came from, I believe I saw it from Israeli Pulse News, that Hamas is now ramping up and getting ready to do another cross-border raid over into Israel. That would mean, when they do that, if that is factually the case, that they're going to try to do that during freaking Ramadan so that they can go and get their higher praise up for jihad and up in heaven and everything else that they want to do, that would mean that Israel is likely going to strike. And if Israel is going to strike first, because they're not going to allow that to happen, by the way, there's 40,000 IDF soldiers currently stacked outside Gaza. So good luck doing that. Have at it, Haas. Go for it. Have fun. Go after them. Try your best. That means if they go over there to do that, and if they try, that means Israel is going to strike first. If that reporting is actually accurate, Israel is going to strike first, and they're going to go into Gaza, and they're going to ride hard as hell. And if you don't think these protests are going to come here to the United States of America, you are dead wrong. It is a direct threat to U.S. national security. These are savages. that have murdered U.S. citizens, have shot them in the head in tunnels, taken hostages. They strangled a baby. I can't say that loud enough. They strangled a baby. They literally strangled a baby. Those people that you saw on camera are ones that support them. They label it as Free Palestine. They label it as whatever the hell they want. But at the end of the day, it's domestic terrorism. When you're using fear, violence, intimidation, coercion, control, all of those things to push whatever sick, radical, ideological agenda you have, that is terrorism. And they're getting kicked out because of it, particularly the people that are organizing it and leading those things. And that's not a bad thing. And I can't believe, for the love of God, that our freaking government is actually, like, members of our government are actually pissed off about this. All right. They are placing the discipline with that letter that I just showed you a little bit ago under the president. They are calling for a mask ban. Why? Because people are covering their faces when they're committing these violent acts, and they need to get the heck kicked out of the country if they're the ones doing it and they're here on visas. Otherwise, they need to be held accountable under local, state, and federal law for all of the crap that they've been doing. It is nuts. It is absolutely nuts. And I'm really, really glad that they are delivering this to Columbia University. Now, allegedly, Columbia has already came back and has their own list of garbage. I personally could care less what Columbia University thinks about it. I really don't. I really, really don't care what they actually think. They could seriously, like, kiss off. They can go away. I don't need to hear about it. They can I don't know, stick something in their pipe and smoke it, other than whatever it is they're doing. They just have absolutely zero business being here. I want to find that one clip. Here it is. This is the clip. I failed to open it up earlier, but I want you guys to be able to see this. The White House press secretary actually got asked about this today, and the White House is pushing back pretty hard as well.
The last question here on Mahmoud Khalil. Does the administration believe that it needs to charge a green card holder with a crime to be eligible for deportation?
Well, in fact, Secretary Rubio reserves the right to revoke the visa of Mahmoud Khalil, and I'm glad you brought this up. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or a visa for individuals who serve or are adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States of America. And Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges. And he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege, by siding with terrorists, Hamas terrorists who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in. And I have those flyers on my desk. They were provided to me by the Department of Homeland Security. I thought about bringing them into this briefing room to share with all of you, but I didn't think it was worth the dignity of this room to bring that pro-Hamas propaganda. But that's what this individual distributed on the campus of Columbia University. And this administration is not going to tolerate individuals having the privilege of studying in our country and then siding with pro-terrorist organizations that have killed Americans. We have a zero tolerance policy for siding with terrorists, period.
It's like I told you, like, if you side with the enemies of the United States of America, you need to get your butt kicked out, right? You are quite literally over here spreading terrorist propaganda. Your First Amendment right is not absolute. Neither is your second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. It's just not. That's what the Supreme Court said. And they're using all applicable laws. Now, there is people that are out there currently fear-mongering, talking about Trump coming in, using certain acts, and it was stuff that we had talked about earlier on, where they haven't really been used since, I think the last time it was used was like World War II. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it was in one of his initial executive orders that he pushed out. And I do think it would be a good idea for him to actually use that, if the need be, to start kicking these freaking nut jobs out of here. All of them. Because what's taking place on these college campuses is absolutely important to me, because what it is, it's infecting the mind of the youth of the United States of America, and it's a very bad deal. It's actually why I brought on that young lady from Campus Reform that was so well spoken the other day, just to actually hear what was taking place and what everybody is dealing with. Now, listen to this next clip.
The president promised that under his watch, we will no longer stand. The president promised that under his watch, we will no longer stand by while universities tolerate and facilitate anti-Semitism and support of terrorism on their campuses. The department's recent actions, which hopefully you've seen at Columbia University in coordination with our law enforcement agency partners, are part of the administration's mission to end anti-Semitism in this country. Just last night, we worked with the Department of Homeland Security to execute search warrants from an investigation into Columbia University for harboring and concealing illegal aliens on its campus. That investigation is ongoing, and we are also looking at whether Columbia's handling of earlier incidents violated civil rights laws and included terrorism crimes. This is long overdue. Let me be clear. Hamas is a terrorist organization. It has the blood of American citizens on its hands, innocent victims, many of whom are citizens of this country, have died because of Hamas's actions. Any person engaging in material support of terrorism will be prosecuted. The president promised that.
Okay, so my real question is, where was all of this a year ago when it all started to take place? Where was it? Why didn't they have it? Bubba P coming in, gifting out 10 Speak the Truth memberships. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your donation. Nemesis Major says, worked on audio a little from the interview, put it in the resources if you want to use it. Hey, man, greatly appreciate you. I don't know if you can tell, but the mic actually sounds better tonight. And the mics prior to recording, prior to going live last night, were actually set. For some reason, and it may have been the guy I had running the camera systems, I'm not sure, but I had to figure it out today. Something additional was added into Streamlabs software that grabbed an additional audio feed that gave it that little echo sound, but also was pulling all that ambient noise. It really pissed me off. What a freaking waste. But don't worry, the next one's going to be solid because I figured it out today. I did my audio checks beforehand. I did all that stuff. It was like, all you got to do is push play and hit these little buttons. Not sure what happened, but that's what you get. Free support Medicam. I ain't gonna blame it on him. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. But look, either way, that's fixed. So I appreciate you guys for reaching out. I did put a new rendered version up. I posted it in the video section today, so you guys are able to go over and grab that particular video. Is Linda Lou in the house? Is Linda in the house? Did I miss something? Is Linda Lou in the house? Oh my gosh, she is. Linda Lou, welcome back, ma'am. You are the freaking best. You are always amazing. Love to have you in here. It's actually kind of nice. Now, these two young ladies allegedly are being deported. Hold on, let me get their picture up here on the screen. What it looks like is Laga Cordia, who is a Palestinian national, got arrested yesterday, and Ranjani, whatever, she ended up getting deported back to Canada as well. These two freaking nut jobs, like right over here, for the same exact reason. When I say they're rounding them up, I mean they're rounding them up, and these two nut jobs are some more that ended up getting kicked out of the country as well. Oh no, bye, go back to Palestine, wherever the hell it is you come from, whatever you want to call it. Go back over there, go back to your homeland and support the terrorists on your homeland, because we are not going to have you here in the United States of America. And to me, that is a very, very good thing. And wouldn't you know it, people are not happy about this. They're upset about it. People are pissed. They're upset. Apparently, the college students are now scared that they don't get to riot, break into buildings, cause violence, and kidnap people. You don't believe me?
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, Senator, Columbia University just announced multi-year suspensions, temporary degree revocations, and expulsions of student protesters who occupied Hamilton Hall last spring, a year ago. Senator, that pullback on the $400 million they were getting from the feds had an effect.
Yeah, let's think about it. Gee, what's changed from a year ago? I think I got it. I think we have a new president in the White House. I think we have somebody who's willing to enforce American law. I think we have somebody who wants to protect students on campus, who wants to protect Jewish students on campus, and isn't going to put up with this BS anymore. That's what's happened, Laura. I'm glad Trump is out there finally holding these people accountable. By the way, you know what we should do? Tax their endowments. These universities are just giant hedge funds that take our money, indoctrinate our kids, kids and then get rich off of it. These people should be getting no federal funding. We ought to be taxing their endowments, and we ought to be expelling from this country any student on a visa who engages in this kind of garbage.
I couldn't agree more. What a breath of fresh air. And what Jonathan Wilson coming in, just dropping a big fat whopping 20 Speak the Truth memberships. I love being able to read these names off again, man. I absolutely love you guys. It really is. It's a breath of fresh air to actually have people that are doing something for a change, to actually be, I don't know, taking care of the violence that was over here in the United States of America. And they're worried about it. Well, great, because y'all committed domestic terrorism for such a long period of time, supporting America's enemies, making a U.S. citizens live in fear here at home. I personally hope you're shaking in your little freaking Crocs or whatever it is you freaking pro-pally nut jobs wear, and you're worried about getting deported. I really do. I really do, because it is a privilege to live here in the United States of America. It is an absolute privilege. And right now, with what we have coming up in the future, I promise you there is going to be more. And we need to make sure that the law enforcement has the backing that they need. And I am so relieved to finally see that they do. So relieved. I can pull up, I don't know, videos from UCLA last year where those pro-Palestinian nut jobs had gone and taken over entire camp, it's nuts. Taken over a huge chunk of the campus, and law enforcement really wasn't doing anything about it. As a matter of fact, it got to the point where you had students from UCLA that ended up showing up and attempting to do something about it because law enforcement officers stood idly by. That's no longer acceptable. Blue, welcome to the frickin' Speak the Truth Club, my friend. Bubba P coming in, gifting out 10 Speak the Truth memberships, and Leon Killian coming out, gifting out 10 as well. You guys are freaking awesome. And all that following John Wilson dropping a big fat 20 Speak the Truth memberships. You guys make me smile, man. You really, really do. Absolutely make me smile. Let's see here. And we're not just stopping there. You know, a lot of people are really pissed off about, I don't know, maybe tariffs on Canada and things of that nature. And we had talked and we had told you guys, right, about how much fentanyl and where it was coming from and how it was pouring across the border and all those other things. Well, guess what? Pam Bondi ended up weighing in as well. Not just a little bit. Like, I like visual representations. I really do. I like visual representations. And she freaking nailed it on this one.
On stage, we have, this is 180 kilograms. It represents, not real, of fentanyl, okay? So this represents 1 kilo of fentanyl. In its pure form, this 1 kilo can kill 500,000 people. The 180 there, in pure form, could kill 90 million people. That is the population of California, Texas, and Florida. That's what we're dealing with in our country. That's why angel moms go around the country. That's why Donald Trump has taken such a hard stance against cartels, securing our borders, getting these gangs and drugs out of our country. But look at that. That can kill 3 states in its pure form. That should terrify everyone.
And it's not just like it's one state, it's a lot of states, right? Ooh, can you see my new, oh, look at that. It's allegedly Russian dropped war paraphernalia, wouldn't you know? Hey, listen, that is a very big deal, right? And by the way, I've got the stuff to fix the backdrops. The backdrop's gonna get fixed. It's just, I've been hella busy and I'm gonna take care of it. Don't normally catch the live. This is from Benny. It says, don't normally catch the live. Thanks, Matt. You actually do speak the truth. Just saying, thanks, mate. It's currently 11:52 and 28 degrees Celsius. Oh my God. That sounds just so gorgeous and beautiful. Listen, I am, because I'm sick of what I'm seeing in this country. And if you couldn't tell, people don't like it when you do that. When I went off, and I'll go off on whoever it is. If you guys are new to this channel and you don't know who I am, well, you're going to get introduced. And I highly suggest and recommend that you guys like and subscribe and follow this channel, because we have a heck of a lot more of this coming up in the future. Yeah, we're going to have another Nate Vance interview in the very near future. That's going to happen. And now that I figured out the audio problem, it's all going to be solved. So don't worry about it. But I don't know who said, I saw it, if you can't weld, you're not a man, dude. You didn't specify which type of welding. You didn't. And I'm really going to need to know that. And maybe we're going to have to see some of your welds and just see how freaking sloppy they are. I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But at the end of the day, yeah, being a man is a lost art. There is such a thing as toxic masculinity, and that looks like guys like Andrew Tate, in my opinion. There's other things such as like good, strong masculinity, which is what we saw last night. Somebody that came on this podcast and wanted to sit down and actually say that, hey, maybe I wasn't right. Maybe I was acting out of anger. Maybe it was all of these other things, but that is good, strong masculinity. And the United States of America needs more of it. And oh, by the way, you are entitled to your own opinion. You are entitled to disagree with people. And you're also entitled to change your gosh darn mind, right? These are all things that we hold true in America, period. What you're not allowed to do is you're not allowed to riot. You're not allowed to take freaking hostages. You're not allowed to be a huge pain in the freaking butt and support the enemies of the United States of America, particularly when that enemy has killed U.S. citizens. For the love of God, man. I am so happy. I am so happy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying I might go live tomorrow, but I might go live tomorrow. You guys might see some more of me. You might not see some more of me. But for dang sure, you're definitely going to see more of me on Monday. 100%. Now, I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, happiness, God bless. I want to thank every single person that came in here and donated today. It really does mean the world to me. I'm sorry I've been so out, but you guys can see the importance of some of the stories and the things I've been working on. And don't worry, I have more to come up in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a good night. You guys enjoy this week.